Ethelbert William Bullinger AKC was an Anglican clergyman, biblical scholar, and ultradispensationalist theologian. Life and work. He was born in Canterbury, Kent, England, the youngest of 5 children of William and Mary Bullinger. His family traced their ancestry back to Heinrich Bullinger, the Swiss reformer. His formal theological training was at King's College London from 1860 to 1861, earning an associate degree. After graduation, on October 15, 1861, he married Emma Dobson, 13 years his senior. He later received a Doctor of Divinity degree in 1881 from Archibald Campbell Tate, Archbishop of Canterbury, who cited Bullinger's eminent service in the Church in the department of biblical criticism. Bullinger's career in the Church of England spanned 1861 until 1888. He began as associate curate in the parish of St. Mary Magdalene, Bermondsey in 1861, and was ordained as a priest in the Church of England in 1862. He served as parish curate in Tittleshall from 1863 to 1866, Notting Hill from 1866 to 1869, Leytonstone, 1869 to 1870, then Walthamstow, until he became vicar of the newly established parish of St. Stephen's in 1874. He resigned his vicarage in 1888. In the spring of 1867, Bullinger became clerical secretary of the Trinitarian Bible Society, a position he would hold till his death in 1913. Bullinger was editor of a monthly journal, Things to Come, subtitled A Journal of Biblical Literature, with special reference to prophetic truth, the official organ of prophetic conferences for over 20 years, and contributed many articles. In the great Anglican debate of the Victorian era, he was a Low Churchman rather than High Church sacerdotalist. His 3 major works were A Critical Lexicon and Concordance to the English and Greek New Testament, ISBN 08254-20962. Figures of Speech Used in the Bible, ISBN 0801005590. Primary editor of the Companion Bible, ISBN 08254-21772. It was completed after his death by his associates. These works and many others remain in print. Bullinger's friends included well-known Zionist Drive, Theodor Herzl. This was a personal friendship, but accorded with Bullinger's belief in a biblical distinction between the Church and the Jewish people. Trinitarian Bible Society. In 1867, at age 29, Bullinger accepted the office of clerical secretary of the Trinitarian Bible Society, an office which he exercised, with rare lapses due to illness in his later years, until his death. Accomplishments of TBS during his secretariat include completion and publication of a Hebrew version of the New Testament under a TBS contract with Christian David Ginsburg after the demise of Isaac Sarkinson. Publication of Ginsburg's first edition of the Tanakh. Formation of the Brittany Evangelical Mission Society under Pastor Lecote, and translation of the Bible into the Breton language. First ever Protestant Portuguese reference Bible. Distribution of Spanish-language Bibles in Spain after the Spanish Revolution of 1868. Bullinger was also a practiced musician. As part of his support for the Breton mission, he collected and harmonized several previously untranscribed Breton hymns on his visits to Trémor, Brittany. Bullinger's TBS workload in his later years was reduced by the assistance of Henry Charles Boger and Charles Welch. Their assistance enabled him to focus on the Companion Bible in his final years. Bullinger and Ginsburg parted ways, and another edition of Tanakh was published by the British and Foreign Bible Society. Theology. Bullinger's views were often unique, and sometimes controversial. He is so closely tied to what is now called hyperdispensationalism that it is sometimes referred to as Bullingerism. Noted dispensationalist Harry A. Ironside declared Bullingerism an absolutely satanic perversion of the truth. Bullingerism differs from mainstream dispensationalism with regard to the beginning of the Church. Mainstream dispensationalism holds that the Church began at Pentecost as described early in the New Testament book entitled Acts of the Apostles. In stark contrast, Bullinger held that the Church, which the Apostle Paul revealed as the body of Christ, began after the close of Acts, only revealed in the prison epistles of the Apostle Paul. Other dispensationalists hold that the Church, the body of Christ, began at or shortly after Saul's conversion. Bullinger described dispensations as divine administrations or arrangements wherein God deals at distinct time periods and with distinct groups of people on distinct principles, and a doctrine relating to each must be kept distinct. He emphasizes that nothing but confusion can arise from reading into one dispensation that which relates to another, and lists 7 dispensations outside of ultradispensationalism. Many other examples of Bullinger's unique views can be found. For example, Bullinger argues that Jesus was crucified with 4, not just 2, criminals. Bullinger argued for mortality of the soul, the cessation of the soul between death and resurrection. While Bullinger did not express any views concerning the final state of the lost, many of his followers did hold to annihilationism. Purportedly, Bullinger was also a member of the Universal Zetetic Society.